All right, class. So in this video, we're going to go over submitting our animation project. So including the final version of the animation and all our files, including our storyboard and everything else. So here's the kind of project description. We're going to make a post with our storyboard file. We'll embed the MP4. This should be the final version of your animation, so anything that you kind of lay out in the storyboard should be in the final animation. And remember, there should be some sense of beginning, middle, and end in the animation. So my animation is just a kind of a demo. I didn't really like go through the whole story process. I just kind of demoed using the software and some of the tools and stuff. So your animation should be longer. It should be 10 to 30 seconds. It should have more, stuff going on, more actual animation, and it should have a cohesive story with a beginning, middle, and end. It doesn't have to be like a narrative story with people and dialogue and stuff like that, but it has to be, a series of events that we kind of identify things changing. For the post, we're going to have a project statement as usual. We're not going to have citations like we did in the previous projects, but as I mentioned in our first video on our animation topic, if you do use images or sounds, which you can use with Animate, make sure to add citations for those if they were created by other people. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start a new post. I'm going to use the command button to open this in a new tab so I can keep these instructions here. Let's add our post. So we'll call this animation final. You can also name this after your animation. So we're going to put the final video in first. Let's add a category actually while we're here. So I'll just use animation. And so now let's add in our video. So we're just going to drag in the video file. Remember, I still have a draft. I haven't created the final version, but you should have another file that is your final video. Mine looks a little strange for some reason. Hold on just a second. All right, I don't know why the video looks weird here, but if I go to preview, it looks perfectly fine. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. But if you see something like that, just make sure to take a look at the preview, which is under this little computer laptop button here, and you can take a look at what the post will look like. Anyway, let's go ahead and write our post. So the title is Happiness. The semester year is fall 2025, as usual. And Adobe Animate is the software that we used. So the rest of this we can put in different orders. I'm going to do a description first and then add in my storyboards. So remember, the description should be 3 to 4 sentences. You can talk about the theme, your ideas. You could just summarize the story as well. So I could say I animated a story based on the emotion happiness using birds and bouncing balls and text. Just kind of describe what you were working on, what the theme is, the concept, anything else that you think would be useful for somebody looking at it. And then I'm just gonna write storyboard so we know what we're looking at, and I'm gonna drag in my storyboard images. So I have storyboard1.jpg and storyboard2.jpg. And remember, you could do this by hand, so you don't have to do it on the computer. You can draw your storyboards. You can print them out and draw them, and take pictures and upload, or however you want to get them into the blog. But those are sort of your main components. So once you've got all of those together, let's double check and make sure we've got everything. So this is going to go on Brightspace. The storyboard file will go on Brightspace. And then we have an OpenLab post with our MP4. I actually put the storyboard on the OpenLab post, so maybe I'll move this down here. I think that makes more sense. Let me pause and do that real quick. Okay, so I've moved the storyboard files to our project statement, which is part of our OpenLab post. So we'll just add our final version of our animation FLA file on Brightspace and a link to our OpenLab post. So in the post, I'm going to publish, and I'm going to get the link, and then we'll go over to Brightspace. Okay, so let's copy that link and we'll go over to Brightspace. Remember, the projects are below the blog post, so scroll down and find your animation project. And you can look at the rubric and make sure that you've got everything that is necessary. And we'll paste in our link here. And then I'm going to add a file and just find my FLA file. Don't worry about the storyboard file. If I can see the images, then I can see what you made. So I don't need the storyboard FLA file. So I'm just going to go to happiness. That's my project, and add and submit. And so yeah, that's our animation unit. Again, another quick dive, going over a few basics and then making a little project. Hopefully you enjoyed that. If you're an animation major or you just want to do more animation, I hope this was a good kind of starting point for you. And you'll be able to kind of work with Animate and other similar programs in the future. And if you're not an animation major, hopefully, maybe you'll make some cool animated GIFs one day. Or use this sort of for other things. But yeah, in our next unit, we'll be making a website. So hopefully you guys will be excited to do that. And I'll see you in the next video.